Let's move through some email marketing tips today quickly. I'm gonna move fast. So even if you're a beginner or you're an experienced marketer, you're gonna pick up some value from watching this video. I'm Pallen, a brand strategist. Welcome to my channel where I promise practical advice to build your brand. Today we're talking all about email marketing, and I've said before that email marketing is my most important platform, more important than any social media platform. My access to my list, my email list, has proven to be the most important channel for my business. And what do I use to facilitate my own email marketing? I'm not quite about that either. I am a huge fan of Convertkit, my marketing platform of choice for myself as well as my clients. They are my partner for this video today, so buckle up because you're about to see it in action. Let's dive into my first tip, which I will share my screen for. Now that you can see my screen, let me share my first tip for beginners, and that is write for one person, not for many. Now, obviously, your email is going to more than one person, but it's really important that when you write this email, you really have one person in mind. So for example, I write to Val, my barber, who is a barber, but also an artist, and I think about her because if my material, for example, what I cover, can inspire her to take her passion and turn it into a business, and I feel like I've done my job as a brand strategist. So when I actually write this email, which you'll see in a second, I'll actually put her name here until the end. I add what's called a merge tag, which substitutes the name if you've collected that field. Again, I'll show you that up close in a moment. We'll take a look at this email as a draft. At this point, just know that you're writing an email for one person. Really have one person in mind. Let's keep moving on. Tip number 2, I can show you with this same example. Use plain text style emails. What do I mean by that? I mean emails that look like emails. Now, I'm one for branding and beautiful design and visuals, but when it comes to emails, you want this thing to be as simple as possible. Really what you want to achieve, in my opinion, especially as a personal brand, I think this also applies for many companies. When you send me an email, it should feel like you're sending it directly to me. We're not being deceptive in this, okay? But what we're trying to do is stand out from the noise. We're trying to stand out from the junk mail and all the visuals. It's almost like when you open your mailbox at home and there's a ton of mail in there and you see visuals, you see ads, you ignore it. We want this email to feel like an email. So you'll see a few things here. You'll notice not a ton of visuals. I have one visual, which I'll talk about in a second. I have an email signature at the bottom, which really is a design strongly inspired by my actual email address. I've noticed and I've tested it that emails with this email signature, obviously I've got an unsubscribe and a preferences link here, which is important to have for an email that's going in mass. It's actually the law to have an unsubscribe link. But by sending an email that looks like an email, people actually engage and reply, and that is exactly what I want. Tip number 3, that's the last tip I'll show you using this draft, and then we'll hop over to Convertkit so you can see the draft. Tip number 3 is keep it concise to respect your audience's time. You might be shocked to see at how short this email is. I really believe in sending short, concise emails, mostly out of respect for your audience's time, right? They're getting a lot of information. They're getting a lot of emails on a daily basis. You better be adding value to their day, not asking for more than you're willing to give. So I'm a big fan of keeping sentences short, right? In this example, I've actually given you 5 valuable tips, really in a sentence. Sometimes I take 2 sentences max. The idea here is that we actually link them over to a YouTube video where I go into more detail. If I give all the detail up front, right, not only is the email going to be longer, but they're going to have no reason to click over. And we'll talk about a call to action and visuals here in a second. I'll hop over to Convertkit now so you can see this as a draft. So over here in Convertkit, this feels like the right time to share my 4th tip: educate over selling. Okay, and this fits with what we just talked about, but listen, again, in this vein of talking about your audience's time and attention, you really want to give them value. And I have found that you can consistently give value even when you're selling or promoting something you can teach. This email that we're talking about, I'm using as an example for this video, is a good example. Now you're seeing in draft view of how I don't just say, hey, a subscriber, I have a new YouTube video, you should watch it. Right? I'm actually, in this email, they're getting value even if they don't click over to watch it. They're getting value. I've shared 5 really super tangible tips on how to increase Instagram stories views. My goal and this should be your goal too, is every single time I send an email, I want people to be able to read it, gain something from it, and be able to continue on with their day. I feel like that creates a positive impact for me on my subscriber. Obviously, my goal is that they click over to the video, and they will if they are interested. So remember to educate over selling. And even when you're selling, which you're, by the way, you should be, you totally should be, make sure you're still using that as an opportunity to educate. You'll notice another thing in this email draft that you'll spot often in my email blasts, and this is my 5th tip. One single call to action. What do I mean by that? When I send an email, rather than sending them 10, 20 different hyperlinks of things I'm promoting, I'm a big believer in offering one door to walk through, one opportunity for someone to take action. And that focus really helps convert, at least in the tests that I've done. Now, this isn't going to apply to every single brand. Maybe you're an e-commerce brand and you need to be able to, feature all different kinds of products. Maybe you're promoting services. I get it. This rule might not apply to every single email you send, but I have found in my tests that offering fewer options means higher conversion. So in this example, you'll see this hyperlink right here, watch my latest video. And of course, you can actually click this video. I just love this feature. Here in Convertkit, you can actually embed a YouTube video, and if you want, you can show a GIF preview, an animated 10-second preview of your video. Way to go, Convertkit. That is such a cool feature, and I've really enjoyed taking advantage of it. Again, link here, and video goes to one place. Very important if you can pull that off. Tip number 6, use visuals sparingly. Again, and this is the last example I'll use with this draft, you really want to not cram your email full of visuals if you can avoid it, so that it feels like an email that you're sending directly to someone. Now, I will still include images or videos in my email blasts, but I'm very intentional about it. And if I include one, I probably won't have a second one. I probably break that rule once or twice, but not that often, because again, it's this idea that if you're going to use a visual, you're going to really grab people's attention. You want them to focus on that one thing. Use visuals sparingly. Now hopping over to my client Tina's Convertkit account, just so you have something new to look at. I think Tina does an incredible job as part of her brand, Carrots and Cake, does an incredible job of using Convertkit landing pages. They are simple, they are beautiful, and I know because I can see the analytics that they are highly converting. This is beautiful, right? Not any need to scroll a whole bunch. All of the info you need, beautiful images, background and feature images. I just think it's great. So let's exit preview and take a little look here at how she's done it. You can see here she's chosen a general style, and from there customized it to match her branding, headings, body font, as well as a background image that you can edit and crop. Also set transparency and a color. As well, you can define here the card color, which is this right here. Obviously that's set to white, and beautiful. If you want things really custom, you can just paste custom CSS here that will apply your styles. Let's say you've got CSS on your website and you're wanting to match that in Convertkit. You have that option right here. If you don't know what CSS is, maybe stay away from that and just do your best to style this within the editor itself. But this is a beautiful landing page that is done very, very well for Tina. That's tip number 7, design a simple landing page. On that topic, I'm going to switch over to my own website where I have more than one opt-in. That's tip number 8, have more than one freebie or opt-in. In my case, I have experimented with many of them, and you're seeing here on my website, you may have seen me promote these on YouTube before. This is my top downloaded one right here, 100 evergreen content ideas that you could post today, been downloaded over 22,000 times. I can't say the same for all of these, but I wouldn't know without trying, right? And so I'm a big fan of having more than one freebie or opt-in. A freebie or an opt-in is something that people download for free. It doesn't, you're not charging like a premium ebook or something like that. They are downloading this for free in exchange for your email address, right? Their desire to stay in touch with you, and you get their email address and they get something awesome that's free. And the beautiful thing nowadays, you don't have to pay for printing. There's really no overhead costs once you have it created and ready for download. And Convertkit makes this super easy for you. I recommend having more than one. See what sticks. For tip number 9, I'm back in draft view, and it's going to call attention to this little feature right here, the A with the slash and the B. This stands for A/B testing, and we want you, tip number 9, to test subject lines. This is a great idea if you have time. So for example, if it's an email that needs to go out quickly or at a specific amount of time, maybe don't A/B test because it will delay the sending times for which it's sent, and I'll explain in a moment. The idea here behind an A/B test that Convertkit makes really easy just by clicking that little feature there on your draft. Here I can actually try a second subject line, so get more views. Let's say, for example, I can just test some of the phrasing. I can use an emoji in this one and I leave it out there, right? There's different things that you can test, and I feel like the more you test your subject lines, which is hugely important to get someone to open your email, the more you test, the more informed you're going to become on what works with your specific audience. So what will happen is when this goes out, so if I go continue to just reach our final stage here, I will set a time that this will go out, and here's what will happen, right? So you click here, you'll set a time. This will go out to a portion of my audience, both emails. So 50% of the emails will have this subject line, 50% will have this subject line, and based on whichever one performs the best, that will go to the remainder, the large majority of my audience. So it's exactly as it sounds, an A/B test. You're testing the A subject line against the B subject line, and whichever one performs the best will go out to the majority of your subscribers. That's A/B testing. Another little trick, we're going to count this as tip number 10. We want to resend campaigns to unopens. Let me explain. When you send an email blast, not everyone is going to open it, okay? It's just how it is. The more subscribers you get, the less people in total will likely, not always, but will likely open your email. And so Convertkit gives you the opportunity to send an email to people that didn't open it the first time. You can see it here. I have on my screen an example. This email went out to 29,000 people. 22% of the people opened it. There weren't a lot of hyperlinks in this, which is okay. Because only 22% of the people opened it, I resent it to 23,000 people. Okay, this was a promotional email that I did within Convertkit, and so that really helped me get more eyeballs on this campaign. So if I was going to show you how to resend an email to unopens, I'll show you very quickly how to do it. I click a campaign that I have already sent. Very simple. Thank you, Convertkit, for making this so easy. I would click here, resend to unopens. And what that's going to do, it's going to bring me over to another draft window. Here I can make adjustments on the actual content. So let's say, for example, I will when I'm resending an email, I will normally just completely change the subject line so it's not repetitive from what I already sent. And then sometimes I change some of the details in the email. Sometimes I don't, but I always change that subject line. So those are two of my favorite features that are a little more advanced, but I know this is for beginners, but you can handle it, the A/B test and the resend to unopens. There are so many great resources I have to call out on Convertkit's website. They have some of these amazing how-to guides, not just email marketing, by the way, YouTube, ebook guides, how to create and sell your ebook online for free. There's different resources, Instagram, newsletter guide. There's so many good things here, and I love how they're all designed. They look really cute. Affiliate marketing, that's an important one I've talked about on my channel before. If I were you, these are really, really good. I would just dive in when you have time. I'm going to link to this in the description below of this video because I think this resource is incredible. Okay, I think those are enough tips for one video. I've tried to give you lots here. I have good news though. There's more where that came from. I've got a handy free PDF with over 20 email marketing tips, a few of the ones that I described today with the examples, and a whole lot more. I've linked to that in the description below. My way of saying thanks for hanging out with us today. If you are looking for an email marketing platform to pull all of this off, look no further. Convertkit has you covered. It has had me covered for years. Linked in the description below so that you can try it out for yourself. It is a lifesaver, and it has absolutely been essential for my own growth in terms of my own email list. If you've got any lingering questions, comment below. Let's keep the conversation going on down there. I'll respond to those personally. Thank you, Convertkit, for sponsoring this video. This was a lot of fun to make. And if you enjoyed watching this video, give it a like. That helps other people discover these videos, which we work hard to create for you. And subscribe for more of my videos on branding, positioning, building, and promoting your brand. Next, I'm sharing a few videos I think you'll be interested in on this topic. I'm Pallen. Thanks for watching. Those are coming up next.